Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am speaking with Eon and JD of Dear Shadow. The band has a
How's it going?
fantastic the band has a fantastic new record on the way. It is called the Yin and Yang Realities, and I am super excited to talk to them all about it. Guys, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. What's going on in Atlanta? What's new?
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Big time.
What's up, Austin? Yeah, thank
What's
you for having us.
yeah, what's going on in your part of the world?
Hot heat.
Um, there you
Say
go.
hot.
Uh,
Heat.
Yeah, I feel you. Heat, humidity, all the good stuff. Try not to
The pure,
sweat every
the
second of
purest
the day.
form.
so I've actually been in Atlanta my entire life, and out of these 28 years, this heat, this heat, man, it doesn't get easier.
No. Well, I mean,
It,
we don't need to talk about climate change or anything like
I,
that, but let's be real. It's not
But if
getting
we
any
needed
better.
to.
Yeah, maybe we should. Yeah, it's not getting any better. Let's
nah.
just say that. Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, and we're not even in July. It's become unbearable.
Jeez.
But I did not bring you on here to talk about the weather, even though it is a hot topic right now. I want to talk about this record because it's fantastic, and
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been sitting on it for about a month now. I've had the opportunity to listen to it multiple times. Legitimately, like over the course of the last month, it's been on a heavy repeat, and it's going to continue to be
Awesome.
on repeat once it officially releases. I want to know though, because obviously, like I feel that the instrumentation definitely pulls your attention. There's no doubt about that. But I know that
hmm
a lot went into the actual meaning behind this record lyrically. I would love an
hmm
explanation to kind of get inside of what this thing is about.
Take it away, Trent.
Yeah, so this is obviously a very fun thing for me to be able to talk about and everything, and for all of us.
Of course.
But as far as like the concept side, so yeah, so like we've been telling fans, or telling our fans and everything, it is a concept record. So all the songs are based in or off of a concept. And that concept is actually an original story that I developed some time ago that I wrote, and we decided to make it our first full length record. Bring it into audio form. As far as what it is about, there's a couple things. I even got my little notes right here to make sure I stay on task.
Perfect.
Make sure I stay on task. Because it's definitely a wormhole though. It's definitely a lot. I'll just like kind of stick to the bullet points. So yeah, so the record. It's funny, right? Isn't it, JD? It's a lot going on. It really is.
I understand
Um,
that JD's probably heard the story 10,000 times at this
a
point.
lot of
So
times. At this
that's
point, he's
okay.
like, "Look,
Look, 10,001. Okay.
No,
It's
but yeah,
okay.
of course.
um, well, cool. Well, yeah. Well, what it's about. So yeah, the record is called the Yin and Yang Realities, and I'll kind of like try and kind of just go through like and summarize what
Sure.
that means. So yeah. So like I said, it's a concept record of based off a story that I wrote some time ago. So basically, it's a story that takes place in a fictitious, a fictional galaxy called the Neon House, and the Neon House is actually the middle track. So, ironically, the middle track is probably one of the most important because it's actually where everything is taking place.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's this galaxy that has two planets, but in the story, it's basically the planets are referred to as realms. And these realms are they basically have the physical shape of two veiled females, and that's what and they're entities though. So that's what the album artwork that we just recently unveiled is. There's two, yeah, pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And I'm turning my computer screen back on, but yeah, so that's what the album artwork is, and those two entities, basically all of the songs are taking place within their heads. So one of them is called The Night Gaze, which represents the darker side of the record. The other realm or planet is called Shadow Step, which represents like the more, upbeat side of the record.
Sure.
And essentially, all of the songs are taking place in their heads. So that's why the name of the record is called the Yin and Yang Realities, because instead of the word mind, we kind of replaced it with with consciousness and reality. So basically, everything that is happening on the first side of the record, which is the which belongs to the Shadow Step, those are her thoughts. Every song, every event, all the characters, those are her thoughts. That's her consciousness. The darker side is which belongs to Night Gaze. Those songs are her consciousness, and so her consciousness is called the Yin reality. So together, we just labeled it the Yin and Yang Realities.
Boom.
Yeah. And the cool thing about going back to the artwork and kind of what that signifies, and the artwork, like we see, it kind of looks like they're battling or like dancing together. And that kind of just represents like the flow of life itself, which is just that balance between the light and dark. So that is what that represents. So yeah.
Beautiful.
And yeah.
Wow, clearly
I can talk
so
about
much
this all
going on.
day.
I know, man, and it's okay. Listen, the passion comes through, and I say this all the time. It's like we have enough love songs, we have enough breakup songs, we have enough songs about literally everything, and it's music
Right.
like this as a whole that really it kind of pushes the listener to really, I don't know, grasp new ideas. Even if you're not more
Yeah.
into sci-fi, like music speaks for itself. I
Yeah.
also
Right.
unfortunately feel that so many music listeners nowadays don't really care about lyrics that much. And like they just want music to make them feel good. However, I will say, obviously, the payoff is huge if you listen from song to song.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Does it tell a
Thank
story
you.
from start to finish? Does it jump around? Is it like one long narrative?
Yeah, so it is a overarching narrative, but it does not go in a linear path.
Got it.
The reason being is so like I was saying, so basically everything that's happening is just events that are happening inside the two characters' heads.
Sure.
It's just their thoughts. So because it's basically just two people's thoughts that are that the song is representing, it's the timeline is nonlinear. So like on the yin side, which is the darker side, one of the stories takes place in the in ancient Egypt.
Sure.
Also on that side of the record, one of the stories takes place in the much distant future. Then on the Yang side, we have songs that are like in 2020. What is that song in 2028? Yeah, 2028. So like fairly modern times.
Yeah.
It's so I basically told a bunch of stories
it.
and then brought them together.
Dude, literally the fact that you can keep track of anything
of the
is the most
dates.
impressive part. Not even the dates. I'm talking like
The story in
storylines and
itself.
this and that.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like, there's a lot going on here, and
In
I
my
love
defense,
it.
well, thank you, man. In my defense, because my memory is not the best. It's just, I guess, because like you said, this is something that we really care about and something that
Right.
but I've been sitting on the story part for forever.
Okay,
So
got
I
it.
kind of had the story before we even devised
Oh.
some of the music. So
That's good to know, actually. It's like,
yeah.
a lot of like poets are like, I have this entire book that I don't think they're lyrics, but I'm gonna make an entire record out of it. And that kind of seems like you've done it here.
Yeah.
Now, JD, I want to get you involved here in terms of instrumentation and actually applying sounds and styles and just like your guys' signature touch to everything. How did it work in terms of actually composing these songs? Did you make the songs in terms of like we have to create the stories based on the sounds? Do you kind of get what I'm saying here?
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
All right.
So usually how it usually goes is Trance will, of course, with the skeleton of the song.
Yeah.
He'll kind of give me an idea of what he wants, and then I'll come. Is everything all right? Is my service good? I feel like I'm
You're
lagging a
lagging a
little bit.
little bit. You sound fine now though.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry.
You're good.
There we go. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
overall, yeah, good. I'm like, this feels weird. No, but overall, so Trent will come with the skeleton, and then
Sure.
he'll kind of give me the option of where I want to take the song. I don't know. I usually just play with feel. I don't know. I'm a self-taught drummer, so I usually just play
Sure.
with feel. Best way to put it.
Nice. No, that's kind of the best way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Were you all on the same page in terms of genre? Like, obviously, I want to call this like prog rock, but at the same time, that goes back decades and is shape-shifted in sound and style like a million times over. So, what are you calling it? How did you essentially like find your guys' sound?
I think one myself and JD have are the original members and everything. We do have two new members that are a part of the Brotherhood for sure.
Nice.
With Zero and Pat, who couldn't be here today unfortunately, but they're with us in spirit. But as long as JD and I have been doing this thing together, man, it's we've always been on the same page. We have slightly different backgrounds and what we were like listening to before Dear Shadow was a thing. But it's I guess because we're we all get along and everything, of course, which is obvious, you need that in a band, obviously. But we're it's really, not to be cliche, but it's really like a family. So we kind of all just kind of it just works together. And like he was saying, so yeah, it's just like a things are demoed out, and then I don't mess him up anymore with doing ridiculous stuff on drums and trying to make it ridiculous. And he'll make it a realistic thing. Put the touch on it and everything, and actually bring it into a song, into a living, breathing thing. And we just been on the same page, and it's just it's a fun thing. We're just ready to rock, man.
No, man, that's what it's all about.
I will say, just to piggyback off of Trent's just a little bit, we've never been on different pages. We've always been on the same page. Whenever we come together with ideas, we may have a slight disagreement about something, but it's never anything where we're never on the same page. So that's always worked out. That's what kind of made this album so much easier to do. Just so recording it and practicing it and writing everything was just such a smooth process, because like we've been doing this together for how many years now? So
dog, minute.
That's the family part of it. You know what I mean? That's
absolutely
the family part. Is like, listen, if you are just, for example, 4 random guys that get together and make music just for the hell of it, you're gonna run into problems. That's why bands break up. If you don't have that like friend background and base, and you can't be honest with each other, like that's not a recipe for success, right? The fact that you clearly are on the same wavelength, I love that. Trent, I want to go back to one thing you said though, because it stuck out. You said you don't want to push them too hard in terms of the drums, and I get that. I get that because, and I will just deliver a personal anecdote lately. So many bands that I see live versus recorded, they have these drum patterns that are literally physically impossible. Like you would need a robot to you would need to be an octopus with 8 arms to be able to pull a couple of robots. And especially this style of music that is very drum heavy and relies on that. It's so drum forward. In terms of live performances, how does that look? How do you recreate these songs into a live setting and try to get like the recorded feel, but with a live touch? I know there's no right answer, but
well, I mean, like you said, bands have, it's no, real right answer. But I mean, we just kind of have like a formula, really. So one thing, going back to like the studio thing, is when we like mark all this stuff up and we like in the like the demos are done, and then like he looks at it and everything. Obviously, I was being funny, but no, really, he like actually makes it make sense and everything. And plays it realistically. And then once we get into it sounds funny, but it's true. And then once we get into rehearsal together, where we're actually doing it for real, it's just repetition, and it's just doing it over and over and over. And you just know practice stuff. It's like, wait, was it this or was it that? Okay, this feels good, stuff like that. And then once we do that a lot, then it's just, then you're thinking about other stuff. Then you kind of like muscle memory. Excuse me. Like muscle memory at that point. Then you're thinking about like, we should jump off this thing. We should do this at this show. This is like a fun thing, Well, JD's not doing any jumping, but actually, you know what? He kind of does. Now that I think about it. he has done that before. We have an interactive drummer.
There you go. Well, that's the thing, is the drummer's always hidden in the back, just like
so you gotta have some fun. You gotta remind, like, hey, back here, I'm not just
hello,
the meat and potatoes. I'm still here,
just hiding. I love that.
Absolutely.
Well, let's sort of segue into more live show talk. Do you have anything coming up in celebration of the record? like what is, I guess, this summer or the rest of the year looking like after the record's release, besides the huge sense of relief and accomplishment that you're going to feel on July 7th when this thing comes out.
Hey man. Well, yeah. So besides the the heaps of excitement,
Oh yes.
yeah. So just we're back in the rehearsal space. For a while we were in promotion mode, still
Sure.
really are, but we were in just getting all that set to go. But now everything is kind of just it's just dominoes now really. But yeah. So we're in the rehearsal space. Going over all the songs again and just really honestly, man, getting back in show shape. Because it's stamina, especially our drummer there.
Oh yeah.
With this genre of
Drumming
music,
is
it's
my
not just
exercise, so
No,
absolutely.
that's a very real thing. So, no, you
It
can't
is,
just
yeah.
you can't just get up there and do it. Like it's nope.
No. Yeah. And then we haven't done it in quite some time. So that's what we're focused on. Like, okay, let's get back into the show shape of like, because it's one thing to like play like at your house. It's
Yeah.
another thing to play at rehearsal. But then when you're playing like all of your like as our songs are like freaking 6 and 7, 8 minutes long, you're
Right.
playing all these songs back to back.
That's no
you gotta get
joke.
back in shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, and the plan is to get some local touring done.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta has an amazing music
Definitely.
scene. I don't think you'll have any trouble in that space. But I
Mm.
feel like the complexity and density of these songs is no joke. Like anyone who listens to even
Thank you.
one song will be able to understand that. I try to put
Thank you.
myself in
Thank
your
you.
shoes in terms of like, how the hell are we gonna play this thing and like keep going? Like after one, I would be drenched in sweat. The show would be over. So
But I think that's why we all like it. I think we all kind of like the challenge that we kind of get out of it.
yeah.
Like freaking miasma, the miasma.
So we might as well tell him that story now. So there's a part, I don't know if you remember that that song from the record. It's the 10th track, and there's a part that like that. See, this is a perfect story time.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a specific part where that was one of those things where I demoed and I kind of was like, all right, there needs to be like some kind of break right here, and it was a lot of it was basically a drum solo that I like set in that part of the song, and then when he got it, he basically was like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we got to the studio, and they, we pieced it together and everything. And he did props to JD, did an amazing job on the drums, and pieced it together and everything, and got it into an awesome thing. So yeah, fun stuff coming. He's got to eat his Wheaties.
Yeah, man, do your push-ups. Very real thing.
Absolutely.
I love that so much. Okay, I've got a few more for you.
Okay.
You sort of mentioned what's happening in terms of like, the rest of the summer and the rest of the year. What are some goals you'd like to hit? What are some things you'd like to see happen post-album release?
Oh, JD, I'll let you take that one first.
Yeah, because it's funny. We were literally just talking about this yesterday. I mean, our goal is to just gain something from this album. Like we invested so much. We invested so much into this album that we just want to get something back in return. We're not looking for a huge abundance of money. That'd be great. That'd be great.
I understand.
But we're just looking for but we're just looking for a great return from this album because we're passionate about this album. We really think that we have something great on our hands.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I'll just quickly piggyback that. I know you got some more questions for us. It's just for sure. Like JD was saying, definitely just spreading our main thing is spreading the word. Spreading the word and bringing as many people in to the Dear Shadow family as much as possible. And now of course we'd like to have some deals and some money moves happen down the line, of course.
Never opposed.
Yeah, not gonna lie about that. But we definitely, because this is obviously what we're doing as a as a real career. Like a lot of other artists are aspiring to do.
Yeah.
And we're serious about it. You don't, like JD was saying, you don't put this much effort and for me, the thought with the story and all that stuff. And us coming together and doing these super long conceptual songs. You don't do all that without really wanting to take it somewhere. So we just want to
the love is there.
Yeah.
It's right there in your face.
We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. We really do.
One thing I want to know, and it's not even necessarily a question, I just want to kind of throw it to you two for a second. Is there anything that I'm missing? Is there anything that you just feel like needs to be heard by people? Whether it's a story or a fact or just generally something cool about this record that you think anyone could appreciate.
Let me take that one first, JD, if you don't mind.
Do it.
If you don't mind. Okay. So there's a couple things. Really a couple things. As far as the story, I think that it's one of those things where it was designed to where, you know, people who enjoy this type of music, or even if you don't really like the proggy stuff, you know, we were kind of like, we wanted it to be something that as long as you like rock at all, you know, it's something for you here. I think you don't have to know anything about the story at all for you to have a good time.
Yep.
And that's what we want. We want it to be, you know, something that you could listen to. There's there's heavier stuff, there's softer stuff, there's proggy stuff. We wanted it to be something that you could take anybody in the rock world could take something away from.
100%.
And if you so happen to be somebody that's like, oh, I like all the, you know, the sci-fi and the ethereal stuff, I like all that extra stuff, I'm going to dive into that, then we've made that possible as well.
Yeah.
So we just, you know, at least from my standpoint, I think there's just something for anybody if you're looking for it.
Great answer. JD?
The perfect answer.
Truly.
The perfect answer.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you said for the both of us, but I mean, that's exactly what it is. You have the music there for people that just sit and just want to listen to the instruments. But if you actually just want to dive in and listen to the story that's being told, that's actually there for you as well.
Yeah.
There's videos on YouTube of the actual trailer of the story being told. Trent's breaks down the videos on YouTube of the story being told. So I mean,
I love that.
Trent's broke it down perfectly, the best way.
I just want to say, if we have any time, that, you know, this is like a conceptual thing. It's kind of like sci-fi based and everything, but each of these stories are, if people delve into that, if they care about this part, each of these stories are very real things.
Sure.
So it's not just random stuff. It's something. Each story has its own type of theme, based off of, you know, basically everything that involves the human experience, and that's what makes up the balance between the light and the dark, which is why it is coined the Yin and Yang Realities. You know,
exactly.
it's a little bit of everything.
Comes back to it. Listen, I don't want to. I mean, this is a not weird thing to say, but I think for anyone who is going to listen to this thing for the first time and they may be put off by like, this is too heavy for me, or it's too much to take in, I don't want to give a backhanded compliment and say that it's like introductory, or like I think it's more approachable than anything. You know what I mean? Dancing around the world, where it's like, it's not too crazy in the sense where you're like, whoa, this is too much. This isn't like my mainstream pop on the top 40 radio. It's not going to be that. It does take some thinking, and people get scared by thinking nowadays, especially like no matter what they listen to. And I'm sincerely just like, I'm just saying here, like, this is a record that it challenges you. It's not one of those things that you can listen through one time and feel like, oh, I got the gist of it. It's not. It's not, and like it shouldn't be. And like, just like you guys, as a lifelong music listener who's consumed music of all different styles and just literally everything, the things that I come back to the most are the things that aren't right in your face. You know what I'm saying? The things that
replay value.
That's exactly, took the words right about it. The replay value is at an all-time high. It's legitimate.
Thanks, man.
Normally my last question is something along the lines of like, give me an opening message or something you'd want to say to the person who's going to listen to this, but I truly feel like you've done that. Like you've said it all. Unless there's anything else, I'm gonna wrap this up because I think you've done a great job here.
Well, yeah. It's just, if you there's something there for everybody.
Yeah, best way to put it. Yeah, we just hope that y'all enjoy it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
and
absolutely,
we're really excited for y'all to hear it. Like,
awesome.
really,
You should.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Well, let me plug this thing for you one more time here.
Alrighty.
If you missed it the first time around, the record is called the Yin and Yang Realities. The band is Dear Shadow. We will have the links in our articles that you can listen and share and follow along and send to literally everyone who you think will like it or won't like it, but you think could give it a chance. And it is going to be out on July 7th. And I want you to listen. I think that's just the way to do it here. Thank you both for taking the time. It really means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Course. Thank you, Austin. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Take care. And
alrighty. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
See ya.
Alrighty.
Bye.